Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS3 review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing, which if you've never played it before, it's basically a karting game, and it's one of those, the game's hit and miss, and quite frankly I can't wait until the sequel comes out, because I think the sequel is going to make it one of the all-time greats, I really do. At least I hope it would. So anyway, I'll start off with basically the usual stuff, and then I'll mention the things that I don't like about it. At the start you've simply got single player, multiplayer. You can play the game split screen with 4 people, or you can play it online. You can't play it online with people on the split screen because it's a separate option and it's a bit of a shame. The options screen, you can do the usual, you can choose your controls, you can choose display options, view credits. The settings are very, very basic, just things like you can choose types of weapon power-ups on, you can choose game difficulty or laps and just stuff like that. I just pretty much have it at the default settings. License just basically, well, just allows you to do stuff like, for example, you can view your Sega license to see time played and just stuff like that, which again, as with all my reviews, I've basically went on stuff with an early profile to be able to show off specific stuff and not show off other stuff. You can view your trophy settings, you can just basically do stuff like that. The shop is the main reason why I haven't particularly gone in a file with completed data, because the shop will be empty. Basically, on the shop, you can buy courses, you can buy characters, and you can buy music. And I know I said courses when characters won, but it doesn't matter. You can buy the characters, which there's just all sorts of things from all sorts of different Sonic games and all sorts of other Sega games as well. So it's not just like a Sonic heavy game. I mean, you've got, for example, Mobo and Robo from Bonanza Bros, Opa Opa from the amazingly underrated Fantasy Zone games, which I love. And courses are just like set from other games as well, and you can buy them. And to buy them, you have to use the Sega Miles. I'll get onto the Sega Miles in a very quick time. Your single player modes are time trials, mission modes, Grand Prix, and single race. I'll show the Grand Prix first, I'll then show the missions to just basically explain them, and I'll then show some multiplayer off because it's got them, so I might as well show them. So it's usual stuff. You just choose a kart or character and it tells you the stats of the kart before you choose it. So some are better for handling, some are better for acceleration, some are better for speed and just stuff like that. There's then different difficulties for the Grand Prix mode, and then just basically you go through and play the Grand Prix. So let's start with the first cup. So obviously this is the game, and Grand Prix basically work the way you think they do. You have to basically come first in every race. You don't, to be fair, have to come first. It depends on where the other places are, but it's always best to come first in every race to guarantee that you win the Grand Prix. And I'll double check in case I've miscounted, but I think there's 8 different Grand Prix, so there's quite a bit to do there, because there are 24 tracks on the game, and there's just a load of different characters as well to play as, which I've already kind of shown and mentioned some of them of. The reasons that I don't like the game very much are the driving mechanics of the game. It feels like it's been made for a 5-year-old who's never played a game before in their life. It really is a shame because it's the only thing that lets the game down. When you play as many kart games as I have over the years with Mario Kart and Crash games and just all sorts of other karting games, including the early Sega ones as well, which I quite liked, then it just feels a shame that the kart mechanics are so weak and so obviously there to lead you through the game. It's just one of those, it's the same with unlocking the characters, because the Sega Miles, which I've already mentioned, you just get the Sega Miles regardless of whether you're good or bad at the game. Just by playing the game you get them, and that's simply it, and you can therefore unlock the characters and the tracks whether you're good or bad, which, to be fair, yes, that can actually be a good thing because not everyone's great at games. But it is a bit of a shame when you're used to playing the Mario Kart games, which, well, ask any diehard Mario Kart fan, they'll tell you trying to get some of the stuff with the treble star ratings was just a nightmare, so it's a shame that that difficulty isn't there. But anyway, I've mentioned the kart controls and that, and basically feeling a bit loose and feeling like they lead you through the game and the drifting and that. I will now mention that the drift turbos are there that you expect on kart games now, from basically doing the same stuff as Mario Kart, just like bashing the analog a bit, and that seems to get it up a bit faster. And it's just one of those, if you've played a kart game before, you will be able to jump right into it. It's just, as I say, you might notice that it does seem to be a bit basic and simple. Which, getting on to the good points of the games, the track design it's absolutely fantastic. The tracks are some of the best tracks I've seen on a karting game ever. The weapons work really well, they feel balanced, they don't feel overpowered. Every character's got their own super special move if you're right back in, like, well, in 8th and that, and it just depends on what you are. So Sonic turns into Super Sonic and gets like infinite turbos and stuff like that, and Billy Hatcher gets an egg to roll around on. It's just mad seeing some of the powers, and it's really fun doing them and that. So it is a bit of a shame that the kart mechanics themselves and the driving are so poor and simple, because as I say, everything else about the game looks, because graphically it looks fantastic, tracks, sound wise, everything is spot on. So I really hope they make a sequel with better driving mechanics, or at least an ability to change the driving mechanics from simple to a more hardcore, tighter, responsive feel with like better drifting and stuff, you know. So anyway, I've went on about the Grand Prix and that. I'm now going to cut on to the missions, because the missions are another saving grace of the game.
3, 2, 1, go!
So this is one of the missions, and before I get on to the missions, I will correct myself. There were only 6 Grand Prix, of course. 4 times 6 is 24. I don't know why the hell I thought there were 8. So anyway, the missions are just loads of daft things, which, to be fair, looking at this, if you've ever played Outrun Online Arcade, which I've also reviewed, you might be thinking this looks very Outrun-ish. Well, that's because this mission is you have to drift to your best, and by drifting you get a different rating and that, and depending on how you do, depends on your overall rating, and it depends on your overall miles and stuff. There's other other missions, which are just things like you have to beat someone in a tiny section of the track, maybe a lap, maybe half a lap, just something like that. And it's just one of those. The missions, as I say, are a saving grace, because they're fun, they're good to do, they can get difficult, and it's just yet again another reason why I'd love to see a sequel, but with better driving mechanics, because everything else about the game, even the multiplayer with the loose driving mechanics, is just so much fun. They've got it all right except the driving, and it's just a bit of a shame. But anyway, I've shown the graphics off, which truly are fantastic. You won't probably be able to tell as well from the camera screen, but it really does. It looks brilliant. It's one of the best looking kart games I've ever seen. So now all I've got to do basically is mention the music of the game. Well, let you listen. So for that, some multiplayer footage. Well, I said multiplayer footage, but I forgot to mention all the different multiplayer modes. There's Racing Mode, which is standard, Battle Mode, which is also standard, use weapons to kill them, Capture the Chow, which obviously grab the Chow ticket at your base, very similar to Capture the Flag, grab the Chaos Emeralds to score, King of the Hill, score in a certain zone, Knockout, every 15 seconds a racer gets knocked out. So anyway, now some footage and music.
3, 2, 1, go! Sonic burst through into first. Amigo can't seem to hold it.
So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.